the Quinn Marr Show.
My next guest is the voice behind one of the most iconic characters in video game history. From playing a mastermind criminal to a superhero to even a futuristic folk singing alien. And yes, an actual real estate agent. This guy has done it all. It is my pleasure to welcome to the Quinn Marr Show, Jay Klaitz. Jay, how's it going?
Yo, Quinn, pleasure to be here, buddy.
Thank you so much for doing this, man. We're just talking about this. You and I were a pair of messes with the scheduling, so I'm glad we finally got this going.
We finally made it happen. Just took us a minute. That's all right.
That's it. Just get started. So I like to kind of go back to basically my guests' beginning of their lives. So you
Sure.
grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, and obviously we'll talk about GTA later. But like a lot of people now like to say Florida is like a real life GTA. So growing up in like the 80s in Florida, what was it like then?
I mean, they're not far off. No, you know what? I'm joking. It's the beauty part about having grown up in Jacksonville. I grew up out on the beaches. Jacksonville is a huge city, like just landmass wise, and so you might live in two very different places and both be able to say I, grew up in Jacksonville. But so I grew up out by the beaches, and so you had simultaneously the beach chill kind of vibes and also the southern taking it nice and easy, slow kind of chilling out man thing. So like it was sort of double chill, and I love that part of it. Like there's worse places to have grown up, that's for sure.
Was your school like half and half, or was it just like you had the one group and the one school type thing? Or did you have a bit of both?
Oh, you mean like beachy people versus southerny people? Oh,
Yeah.
I actually, in terms of the people, I wouldn't even split them up like that. Like everybody is simultaneously kind of, at least the people at the beach. Like it's not like the people that live out at the beach were not like Southerners. They were, we are.
Yeah.
I am. But, I just mean, like if somebody lives, people live 45 minutes, almost an hour away from me and still lived in Jacksonville,
Gotcha,
like
okay.
inland.
Gotcha.
But the particular part I grew up in sort of had that double chill vibe.
But what were you like as a kid then? Like, were you a sports kid? Were you like more of a nerd? Were you into like music? Like, what was like a young Jay like?
Not super different from what old Jay is like, if I'm being honest. I was always kind of, I played sports when I was a little kid, like elementary school, maybe middle school a bit, but pretty quickly I got into the theater at Jacksonville at Episcopal. I'm still in touch with my theater teacher, Sally Sunshine Deming, who is one of the greatest humans to ever live. And that's sort of where all this began for me. So I was always into theater and film and music in a big way. That was always my jam.
One thing I've noticed is like a lot of people that were in that or are in the entertainment business when they're growing up, they were some were a lot more outgoing than others. Were you a class clown?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I get the vibe.
Yeah, totally. That was always my leading, playing the funny guy role.
I've said it before, like when I was a kid and like being like just like a little jackass in class, nothing was a better feeling than making an entire class laugh. Obviously, the teacher probably wasn't laughing, but when your peers are laughing, unbelievable.
Yeah, totally. I think it had a lot to do with my family too. Like we're a gregarious bunch. Like holidays and stuff, especially when the big ones with all the family and all that. It's always a lot of fun. It's very much a barrel of laughs. Like that's just kind of the vibe with my family in a lot of ways.
What did your parents do growing up? Like, did they like career wise have anything to do with like entertainment or anything?
No, I'm totally the odd man out in terms of having gone off and done all this as an artist. That's actually not entirely true. My grandfather was a semi-professional opera singer. And like toured the country a bit, and he sang at the Fox and stuff like that. So like, that is in my family. Both my sisters play piano, but everybody sort of professionally speaking, at least my mom and dad and my sister, they're as I say, civilians, people that aren't in showbiz.
Is there anything you said about how you kind of got into plays and stuff at school? Was there anything that you can like pinpoint of like you're like, hey, I enjoy this entertainment thing. I like being in plays or like filming home videos or anything, making skits.
Um, you know, in the moment that it happened, it's because I sucked at baseball.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was actually pretty good as a little kid, but then like I don't know, kids started growing up real quick, and like I couldn't keep up, and I thought I was a great baseball player, and then by like whatever it was, seventh grade, I think it was seventh grade. I started eighth grade, whatever it was. Uh, I sucked at baseball, and I was walking out of school one day, and I saw the little sign on the door for tryouts for the play, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in here and do this, and then the rest is history. That's really
Unreal.
how it happened. It was.
Sorry, I was just letting you finish. How do you go then from like doing the plays or in school and stuff to like deciding however many years down the road you want to do this professionally?
Yeah, I went to college, and for a minute, I did not go to like an artsy college because I was specifically going to do something more. You pick your word, realistic or whatever people want to say.
Yeah.
Um, and I went to school. I went off to college, and I lasted about a semester without doing a play. And then I was back in the theater, and then I ended up majoring in theater and religion and economics, but really just because those were interesting to me. And then when I got to the end of college, I auditioned to go to grad school, and that's what I was like, well, I guess I'll do this, and if I get into a good grad school, then I'll give it a go. Probably not though. Even in grad school, I was like, I'm not really going to move to New York and do all this shit. Am I? I'm not going to do that. But then I totally did. So really, it was that moment of finishing college and being like, I'm going to go to grad school. That sort of was me committing
I
to this, whether I admitted it or not.
I always bring this up because like one of the apps I probably frequent the most besides TikTok is IMDb, and I think I have beef with IMDb because a lot of the time, they have either have incorrect information or weird gaps on their like filmography and stuff. So for you,
hmm
your first credited role wasn't until 2005. So where can you fill in the gap between leaving school and then being on that episode? I think it was of Law and Order was the
I did
first
some
credited
time in a
role.
Tijuana prison, Quinn. No, no. I I I finished grad school in 2003, and then came to I thankfully got a decent agent out of that, and probably had a couple commercial credits before 2005. But in terms of the type of thing you would see on IMDb, it just took me 2 years to like get something that would pop up.
What kind of
Um,
commercials were you doing? Were you doing like the any like McDonald's or anything like that?
Brother, I have sold my soul to every burger and credit card and whoever.
Is there one like commercial that sticks out like more than others for maybe like a weird thing, like an odd product or like just like a weird experience?
I would say what the very first commercial I ever booked was like for fish sticks or something like that. I was like on a boat in the rain. It was terrible. But the one that sticks out is definitely I'd say the first big commercial in terms of money that I booked was for Capital One, and I was a guardian angel, except I was pretty crappy at my job. So the people I was following around would always get hurt or have some kind of accident or whatever. And that one stuck out because that was back in the day when it was popular to go to Australia to film things. And so like one day I'm this kid, broke as shit, working a office job, scraping by, rolling around Brooklyn like a crazy person. And the next day I'm like flying to Australia to spend 2 weeks. We shot in New Zealand as well. It was this amazing, like massive production. And on our day off, we were like on a yacht, swimming off the back of a yacht in the Sydney harbor. And like, it was crazy. Just that it was a very quick turn. You know what I mean?
Why is that? Like, why was Australia and New Zealand like the place to go and film things even quickly?
Kind of the same reason that it always changed. You know how like people talking, oh, Georgia's the new place where everybody's filming stuff now. Oh, now it's North Carolina. Now it's Toronto. Like
Or like
it's
Vancouver,
all
yeah.
yeah, it's all either that particular city, country, whatever has created some motivation for people to go do it in terms of tax write-offs. That's usually how it happens. But also, like, you can hire a crew that's not union, and you can hire them for less and spend less money on that. It's production cost stuff that draws
Oh,
people
okay.
to one place or the other. And at that time, a lot of stuff did happen to shoot out there.
I mean, a guy being from Toronto like me, I think Australia, Toronto, I could see which one would probably be better to go film it,
Yeah,
more fun at least.
yeah, totally. It was
Those
pretty
those
amazing, man. I love
that's
Australia very much.
that's so sick. Getting into that first role, then, like I said, like your first credited role is on an episode of Law and Order: Criminal Intent, and you played an officer. So, like, I don't want to say real set because that's not like the right way I want to word it, but like, how different of a set did that feel like compared to like ones you were doing for commercials?
Oh, you know what, dude? I don't think it's all that different, actually.
Hmm.
In terms of the functionality of it, like, yes, creatively, it's a bit of a different thing from one to the other. But working on television, one of the things I actually like about working in television is that people tend to know, like, we're here to do a job. You know what I mean? And they're going to get it done, and they're not going to, like, make it a big deal. Like, and I like that. It's not like that in all facets of show business. So I would say, commercials are, back then too, like, things are a little different now, but back then, with these production companies, advertisers, they were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars just to make the commercial, let alone, like, air it and pay people and all that. Right. Like, it was, commercials, I would say, are just as sort of real as, a Law and Order set. It's same ballpark, at least.
Well, it's interesting too because like even like this is 20 years ago, let's say, like even TV was so different. Like now all the movie stars are doing TV, but that wasn't a thing then. You were in TV to get out of TV to go into movies. So even in 20
Totally,
years, like
man.
the difference is crazy.
Yeah, totally. It's a different game. Back then, it would have been sort of like, oh, doing TV, are you? If you were a
Yeah.
movie star. Now it goes every which way.
Yeah, like I can't think of a movie star that hasn't done TV, some sort of series or whatever now. It's
Yeah,
wild. Like the one I always think of like making that jump from TV to movies is George Clooney when he was on ER. Like he was
yeah,
the biggest one I feel like that did that jump to be one of the biggest stars, right? If
yeah,
not the
totally.
guy. It's weird how that works.
Yeah,
So yeah, what was it like? Was it a quick shoot? I'm assuming for Law and Order. Like was it like a one day, couple
one
days?
day, baby.
Yeah.
It's so. Here's my good story about that one. The in that episode, I play a cop who finds a guy dead in a stairwell. I don't want to get too graphic on your show, Quinn, but the guy is at attention when I find him. If you catch my meaning,
Yeah.
and that's part of the story, and and the star Vincent D'Onofrio, he's there, and Katie Irvin, and he's like, and he sort of figures out that I actually messed with the body. So, like, I found the dead guy with his pants down, and I pulled his pants up for him, and I'm like, I didn't think he needed his wife knowing he died getting hooker service, and that's like basically the scene, like, because the dead guy was a corrections officer, so I was like taking care of a bro,
Yeah.
pulling up his pants, found him dead like that, and in that scene we refer to his penis as a Jingus, Jingus. Yeah, I never heard of that one either.
It's a weird
Haven't
word.
heard it
Were they
since.
not allowed to say penis? That's weird.
No, you couldn't say. Yeah, you couldn't say penis back then, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now we can penis. But that became a whole joke. Like, all my buddies will still, like, crack Jingus jokes with me. Like, it's, my pals for back home. Like, it's still a running thing. But then cut to, like, maybe a year and a half later, I'm in another audition room for Law and Order. Sometimes they'll use people a second time. I think there's a time period it has to be, in between appearances. But I was back in for the same Law and Order for a role. And I was like, well, I'm not going to say anything if they're not.
Yeah,
So
really.
I get a call back, and I'm in the room with the director, the producers, and yada yada. And I sit down to, like, do the audition, and some guy in the back goes, "Oh, wait a minute, you're the Jingus guy."
No way.
And I was like, "Yep, that's me." Turned out he was the writer. He was like, "Oh, I wrote that episode." I was like, "Oh, cool, thanks, man."
What are the odds that he would remember that too?
Yeah, well, totally. Well, he remembered, like, I mean, it was but that's the thing. It was only like maybe a season back, so like he remembered
True.
that he wrote it and that I was the guy who uttered that absurd word on his behalf. And then I didn't book the job that I had to call back
Oh
for
no, I
because
was
I
just
think
gonna
they were
ask
like,
you if you did or not.
yeah, no, I didn't get it because I think they're like, oh yeah, he's been on too recently. Sorry, we didn't.
True. I mean, I guess because you were gonna do a different role, but I guess they technically could just put you in the same role.
Yeah, I know they could have, but instead they gave me the Jingus.
Can you
Heyo!
can you believe how long Law and Order in general has been on and all the spin-offs? It's insane.
It's amazing. I mean, it's a tentpole of television itself. It's wild.
That is wild.
I've worked
When
on
I was
so
going
many of
through
them.
your resume and stuff, one thing that really stuck out to me was Superpowers, that short you did, where you had
Yeah.
fairy powers. And for those who don't know, I got the description here. A young couple tries to save their marriage by dressing up as superheroes in the bedroom, but when they're forced out onto the streets of New York City, they end up saving much more than their sex life.
Totally.
How
Yep.
did you get involved with this movie and reading the description or whatever when they told you better? Were you automatically like, yes, I'm in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the guys who wrote and directed that are dear friends of mine, and they at the time, they were young directors, writers, wanted to like make something that was, that's kind of how you did it back then. You would make a short, and if it was really good, you could try to get it around the festivals and get a little attention like that. So they were trying to basically make a calling card for themselves, and had this very fun, kind of cute idea about this couple's spicing it up in a silly way, and then they have to escape down the fire escape, and suddenly they find themselves involved in a mugging, basically, and like, so it was a really fun idea, a great setup, and of course, the people that I made that little film with were like family, so we had a blast, and later. That was actually the same team that came to me and the other half of Future Folk and said, "Hey, we'd like to make a movie about Future Folk. What do you think?" And of course, we were like, "Yep, let's go."
That's unreal.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and that's so nice that you get to do it with friends of yours too. So I feel like you probably had a lot less pressure on you now.
Oh yeah, I mean, and also just the joy of making something with friends is like shooting Future Folk. That film is to this day top 3 experiences of my life, because you're out there, you're doing the thing that you love on a professional level, and you're doing it with so many people that you love. Like we shot so much of that in and around Williamsburg, and we all, everyone involved, the cast and the above the line, all the crew, like we all knew each other. We all lived in Brooklyn. We all went to the same bars, got trashed together. Like it was very much a family affair, and just man, there's nothing that beats that.
That's so sick. That's really cool. It feels a lot less like work, huh?
Oh yeah, it was no work. It was just awesome.
So there were a couple other on-screen things you did, like Frozen River, Made for Each Other, etc. But then all of a sudden things kind of changed drastically with Grand Theft Auto: The Ballad of Gay Tony. So
Oh yeah.
you voiced the people of Liberty City is what you're credited. So I want to start with how did you find out about doing anything voice acting, and where did the opportunity come from? Because looking at your resume, that really sticks out as you're going down.
Totally, it's so funny. So that one was so. Video game stuff is through commercial agents. You've interviewed people like me. You probably know there's you have separate agents for TV, film, theater, and commercials. They're 2 different agents, 2 different worlds, kind of. So the video game stuff comes through my commercial agent, and it was just something I auditioned for, and they booked me on it. I didn't really know what the hell it was when I did it, but what was most notable about that experience is that when I did Ballad of Gay Tony, that was way back. The technology was not what it was by the time we got to GTA 5.
Yeah.
And or even to the end of GTA 5, it changed from the beginning. So with Tony, I was standing on a box and going in a circle, and they've got this thing on your head, and they're just getting you from all angles, and you're kind of spinning. I don't even know what the hell the thing was doing, and that's how they did they're capturing your audio, but they're getting your face too, and then
Oh, I
And
didn't
then
know that they were actually getting, like, you, like, physically too.
oh,
Interesting.
same thing with GTA 5. That's all my that's me. That's my, like, face.
Those
My
ones I assumed, like, you and
yeah.
Ned and Steven and those guys, but I didn't think that they would have been doing that for, like, because 'cause you're literally pedestrians in
Yeah,
Daytona.
there was elements of it. I think I also, dude, I can't even remember because it's been so many years now, but I think I also played a specific guy at one point in
Fair,
Tony,
okay.
but
That
then I
makes a little
also
bit more
did because that happens, like, they'll hire you'll do different stuff, like, for the smaller, like, sort of ensemble characters, whatever you wanna call them. They'll like, the non-players, um, they'll, sometimes book people to do different things, different characters, and, just animate different faces or whatever.
that makes more sense then. Coincidentally, because, they're I think a year or so after or during this time, they're a year off of coming off of, GTA, 4, which I think today's the anniversary, like,
Oh, really?
yeah, 15th, 16th, or 18th or something. I think it'd be
Wow.
18th. It's 2008. So today's the anniversary of GTA 4. But like,
Wow.
and that was obviously they had San Andreas, which to me that's the biggest one until GTA 5. But
Sure.
I think 4 was a really big deal. What was Rockstar like though while you're doing Gay Tony? Because like I can only imagine. We'll get into it later, but like I can only imagine the difference between Rockstar, the company, in '09, '08 compared to 12,
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, totally. Um, you know what? I can't recall. I mean, this is probably the most apparent difference was for Tony. I was in a studio somewhere in Manhattan. I don't even remember. Like, was
Oh,
it actually at Rockstar's office or was it somewhere else in Manhattan? I don't even remember. GTA 5, we were out in Long Island at a studio. Like, they had a proper studio, and then later they had an even bigger studio. So, like, it went from just something you were doing in a room in the city to, like, oh, we're doing this thing like on a much larger scale.
were you? Did you get when they gave you the like the lines or whatever, like the people, Liberty City, and or like the character you said you had? Was it like the most like NPC kind of lines? I don't know if you remember, but like get out of the way. You know what I mean? Like when someone pushes you, or like you say the most
Hey,
like random shit as someone's running by you.
yeah. Again, I think I did both. I think there were things like that, but then I think I was a particular guy for a minute that did something, and I literally don't even remember because it's been 20 years or something like that since I did
That's
that.
crazy. So you're doing this obviously you're doing about a gay Tony, and then not so much later you're doing Red Dead Redemption, and this is unreal because
Yeah,
not the people of Liberty City, it's the local population. They
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
changed it to cowboy terms. So same thing where you're voicing like either the NPCs or even users, whatever.
yeah.
Well, you're done bout of gay Tony. Do you not hear from them for a bit and they go, hey, do you want to try something else with us?
Yeah, I think part. I assume part of it was that I was a known entity. Like, by the time I got to Lester, which even then I had no idea what it was when I auditioned for it. I literally didn't know that it was a Grand Theft Auto. I didn't know anything. None of us knew.
Oh,
Yeah, and so same thing. I think, like, they knew me a little. Maybe they didn't remember me from Tony, and then, oh yeah, that guy was all right. Bring him back for Red Dead. I mean, I just auditioned for it, like, anybody would. And so I think they probably just brought me back to do some hillbillies doing whatever in the fucking Red Dead. But and then I guess by the time we got to Lester, I was a known entity maybe to them. So I don't
don't
know.
be so humble. You were.
I guess so.
What's I know we keep talking about differences and stuff, but like even in that gap between '09 and 2010 from Gay Tony and Red Dead, did you see a big difference with Rockstar or not yet?
I don't think I could say, to be totally honest with you, because Red Dead, I think I was just doing, like, basically in a voiceover booth stuff.
Gotcha.
That for me, that wasn't a mocap job. I think, if I remember correctly.
You don't remember wearing a
Um,
cowboy hat in studio?
no, I didn't get to dress up for that one, unfortunately. But so I was kind of like, I was so, like, such an ancillary character that, like, you know, I don't know.
When you're done Red Dead, did you think like they were gonna ever call you back for anything else, or do you remember thinking, "Ah, that's probably it. If they call, they call."
I think no matter what the job is, you hope they call you again.
True.
Actually, You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that it's something I actively thought about. Like, oh, I hope they call me back for something. I was like, oh, that was a great job. Cool. What's next? You know, that
Yeah.
that kind of has to be your mentality, and you just hope that it went well and that they remember you next time they see you in an audition tape. You know.
Were you going for any auditions for voiceover for, like, TV shows or movies or anything, or was it really just these video games?
Oh yeah, I've done lots of radio commercials, internet ads, all that kind of crap.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done TV as well. I've done like one or two animated shows, just like played a couple one-off characters. Yeah, I've been doing a bunch of different stuff.
So I just mean at that time, like, when you were working for Rockstar, were you then getting into more voiceover through around that time, like early
Oh,
2010,
uh,
or not yet?
yeah, voiceover came kind of last for me. I let's see, I started really doing commercials, like on camera commercials. And then I booked that Law and Order and maybe had a couple of TV gigs here. And I did theater and that happened for a minute. And then voiceover was kind of the last piece of the puzzle for me. And I don't even remember how each sector of show business is a little bit of its own club.
Mhm.
And sometimes an actor sort of gets in one lane and stays there, and that's awesome. Sometimes an actor kind of dabbles in a couple of them, or nobody's path is exactly the same, and so I sort of got lucky, and I've been able to like dip my toes in each pool. But VO came later.
This is such a random question, but do you think what's harder, on screen to voice acting or voice acting to on screen?
Wait, say that again.
What's harder, going from on screen to voice acting or going from voice acting to on screen? Like, if you've only ever started with one,
Oh,
you're trying the other.
interesting. Um, I would say probably it would be harder for an actor who's only ever done VO stuff to go into on camera stuff because then you have to account for the physicality of it as well. So there's
Yeah.
just more to be aware of and more to work on and more to do. But also, I would say that the vast majority of people I know in both lanes can and often do both. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think actors typically set out going, I'm just going to do this one or I'm just going to do that one. It's more like I want to be an actor. I don't know how the hell it's going to happen. And somebody like you end up sort of stumbling into this direction or that direction just based on what jobs you booked or you knew somebody and then you booked this and then that led you over here to this thing. And then, you know what I mean? So like, um, I wouldn't discredit anyone being able to go both directions, but there are people out there who like really like they live in the voiceover lane and that's it.
Yeah.
So I guess it would probably be harder to like then go on camera and have to do all the physical stuff too if you hadn't done that.
I remember seeing, I think it was Hugh Jackman doing like, he was doing voicing for like over like dubbing over like one of his Wolverine scenes, and like the physicality of him in the booth was like crazy, like the way he's grunting and
Oh
by the
yeah,
end of it, this guy's like drenched in sweat. Now, I'm not
totally.
saying you're doing things like that, but like, how physical do you get in the booth when you're doing whatever role?
Totally, that comes up because often there's a gag and somebody gets hit or falls over or whatever in the radio spot. So you got to do all those little walla walla things. Like it's that happens a lot actually, and also it helps if you're in the booth recording something. If there is something physical happening in this little mini radio play that you're doing, um, totally it helps to be able to like move it around and get a little physical. You have to be very careful. You don't want to be bumping into mics or like bashing the wall of the booth because they're going to hear it if you do. But yeah, it helps to be able to get a little physical in there.
Moving away from like a bit of voice acting, until we'll come back with GTA 5, but we talked about this, but the history of Future Folk, where you play Kevin. So again, the for those who don't know, it's the possibly exaggerated origin story of the real life alien bluegrass band Future Folk that has been playing for New York City audiences for better part of a decade. So before we get into it, first off, you're a great singer. Was music like always something that like you were into and you finally got to put it into like your work in this aspect?
Yeah, like I was always in high school I did musicals and I was in the chorus and all that stuff. And let's learn to play guitar in high school as well. I could play decent rhythm guitar, and we made my buddy Nils and I made Future Folk. We just wanted to have a band, and we had this absurd idea um, for these aliens. And initially, there was a whole time travel element in our act when we were doing it live. Time travel is expensive to film, so we cut that part out when we moved it over to a film. But whatever. But yeah, we played around New York City, and the Knitting Factory and Acme, and like all those bars and little venues that comics and funky little bands like that play at for years and years. It was so much fun, man.
That's so cool that you were doing it like just as a live thing, and then you turned it into the movie. So you were doing it for like, was it actually a decade you guys were doing it live, or was it
Yeah.
crazy?
Oh yeah, we played for so many years together. And then our like I said, our buddies, they wanted to make their feature film, and they said, hey, we've got this idea. We want to write a script about future folk, and they're a pair, Jeremy and John. Jeremy Walker and John Mitchell. So they co-direct, and then one writes and one produces, and they're brilliant. And so they wrote this incredible script, and we sort of helped give a little input here and there on that, and we made this crazy thing, and then somehow they magically put the money together, and we went out there and we made this movie. It was wild.
When you were doing like the live sets, like throughout that decade, you guys are wearing these like outfits every single time. That's it. How are you like that would be
Yeah.
so uncomfortable.
It was like wearing an oven. It was like those things were so fucking hot. They had, those space helmets are crazy. And when they designed them, brilliant move. They put these little fans right here and like on the interior of the helmet so that a fan would blow straight down on your face. And that was amazing for the first 3 days of filming until we sweat through the fans and like blew the electric of it.
Oh
and
my
then there were no
God.
more fans. So that's it. You just got to live with it.
That's insane. Well, at least you got upgraded ones for the movie compared to the ones you guys are using.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. The costumes for the film looked amazing, but the feel of them, it's like your suitcase.
Yeah.
That's the material. Like it feels like a suitcase material that those
Just
suits
rubbing
are
on you.
so hot. What's that?
I said just rubbing on you.
Yeah. Well, the inside was softer.
Oh,
There was
okay.
like a
You mean the
lining on the
outside?
inside,
Okay.
but on the outside, that kind of feel. So it was like a heavy, thick material. And you're like running around doing all this shit. You got the helmet on with all this padding. Like, oh man, we were so hot, but it looked awesome. And they had a really cool costume designer make that. So like, it was well worth the sweat.
All these years later, do you have any of the costumes still?
Oh yeah, we have the
That's
helmets.
both like they're your original one and the movie one?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. The early ones when we were just a live act, one of our other buddies in his early professional days was he was a substitute teacher, and so when he would do like younger classes, like kindergarten or first, second grade, like little kids, he would go in and do this silly thing with them, and then cut a hole out of a bucket and decorate it, and like that was like a thing he did with his class. So when we had this dumb idea for the band, he was like, "Hey, you know what I do with the kids sometimes? Try this."
That was
that's
it.
what we did for years, decade almost. We would
God.
put buckets on our head and glue like little knobs and wires and things to it.
The kids needed the fans too.
Yeah, totally.
That's unreal. And I was reading a lot of reviews about the movie just because I had never seen it, and most people are in agreement that they wish it got the love it deserved at the time. In your mind, do you think the movie was well received?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it was. It's sort of a small cultish indie-ish hit. Like I wouldn't have. I mean, obviously, it would have been great if it blew up and we all made $1 billion on it. But we played some really cool festivals. We would go and we played live. We'd like do a couple songs after the screening and stuff like that. So we got to do a bunch of that. We were a New York Times best pick. We were 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, or 96 or whatever it was. Something really good. And like we ended up doing a tour, and we did 10 cities across the country, and we would go and screen the film and then play a full show afterwards. So it was this like ongoing adventure that I mean I couldn't have asked for anything better. So I think it was well received in a super like indie kind of way.
Yeah. When is it time
It was on
for
Netflix for a million years, and then it went back on Netflix too. But you
really?
could, yeah, totally. It was on Netflix for a really long time, and then it's now it's on YouTube, so you can go watch it for free on YouTube.
Perfect. When is it time for the sequel 14 years later? Is it time?
Oh my God, I hope so. One of these days. One of
Yeah.
these days. You
Do
never
you
know.
think everybody would be in?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We need it. The people need it. It was cool because you also worked with D. Snyder from Twisted
Yeah.
Sister.
Yeah.
How,
Yeah.
how did how did they get him?
So I brought him on board. Actually, he was. I was doing Rock of Ages on Broadway for a while, which was
Nice.
unbelievably cool, super fun. And D came on and did a role, and he and I were kind of like partners in the show, and so like he and I got close, and he's such a good guy, and I got to know his family, and I've like worked on a couple things with his son Shane, and like I love the Snyders. They're like the best people ever. And so D was, we were just boys, and I went up to his dressing room one night with the script in my hand. I go, "Yo, D, I'm making this movie. I got a part for you." Sight unseen, he just goes, "I'm in. I'm in. Let's go." Like he was ready.
Unreal.
Like he didn't even like hesitate. He was just so up for it. And it was awesome, obviously, to have him involved.
That's really cool. It's funny because my dad's like a big like classic rock guy, and like
Yeah.
the one thing I only really remembered about Twisted Sister was from the SpongeBob movie because SpongeBob thinks I'm a goofy goober rock, and obviously my
Oh,
dad understood the connection and I didn't, and then that's where I started
that's
learning about all things Twisted Sister after that.
yeah, dude. Go take a deep dive, man.
One
Old
time we
school.
went it was around Christmas time, and we went to like Walmart or whatever, and he wanted to get a Twisted Sister Christmas album. So he buys what he thought was that, and we're in the car on the way home, and he puts it in, and all of a sudden it's like these weird Christmas songs. He didn't realize it was this like I guess series called Twisted Christmas, where it was just like a bunch of like dirty versions of Christmas songs.
Stop it. That's
Yeah, like, I
hilarious.
mean, like, he didn't like, he was the kinda guy that, like, we listen to Howard Stern in the car all the time when I was a kid, so it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
he didn't, like,
yeah.
hide that stuff, but, like, he goes like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, right.
It's like walking
That's
around
so
instead of
funny.
walking around the Christmas tree, it was like walking around in women's underwear, I think was one of the tracks.
Some real classy shit.
Exactly,
Top
while
tier
he's
comedy, no doubt.
while he's smoking a cigarette and the ashes are coming back and hitting me in the back
Yeah.
of the car. He'd always say, and I still bug him about it to this day, but he'd always say like, if like a couple ashes like fell on me or whatever, and I was like 12 or 13, I'd complain. He was like, "No, they help you grow." So now I say to him, "I'm 5'8" and I'm 30. I don't think it works."
I think it went the other way, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my brain shrunk actually.
Right.
It stunted my growth.
It's so funny him like putting that on and expecting to hear D, and then it's just this like dirty Christmas song.
Yeah, you got to search it up.
That's a
Twisted
really funny
Christmas
moment.
was the album. It was yeah, it was weird. I think he still has it too. That's the best part. Like 20 years later.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's a
Getting
family treasure you have to keep.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He should pass it down to me, and then I'll pass it down to
Totally,
my kid,
totally.
etc. It's a
You'll have to
the
start
only
smoking.
family, yeah, the only family heirloom we have.
That's right. It's precious, son.
Yeah, most people have jewelry. We have dirty Christmas music in our family. So GTA 5, you obviously voiced Lester Crest, and I hate to make you feel old, but this game came out 14 years ago, which so long ago that I wasn't even old enough to buy the game. I was in grade 12, and I had to beg my mom to buy it on her lunch break. So then when she came home that day, she wouldn't have to stop, and we'd line up from when I came home from school that I'd have the game ready to go.
Right.
Now, when GTA 6 comes out this year, hopefully, I will be 30 years old, and I will just be celebrating my 1-year wedding anniversary. The
Wow.
time gap between those two games is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
A lot of life happened, right?
Yeah, just a couple things. So how did you hear about the new game? Obviously, they're keeping you in like a little bit of a Rolodex. And then specifically Lester himself.
How did I hear about GTA 6, you mean?
No, sorry, GTA 5.
Oh, okay. GTA 5. Same thing. I didn't hear about it, actually. I It was an audition that my agent sent me on. I went in for it. I forget they called it something else. Oh God, what? The guys remember. I can't. I always fucking forget. But they called it some other name, which they always do, and had me come in and audition for it, and just said it was a video game of whatever. And I didn't know. I didn't give a shit. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. You paying? All right, I'll do it. And I went in. I auditioned for the silly thing, and they booked me, and I was like, cool, great, thanks. Like even like getting there on the day one, I didn't know what it was for a
That's
while.
crazy. Is it still like that now?
Oh yeah, Rockstar, they operate like the CIA. They're like super super secretive about everything, big time. Lots
So
of
were you like,
non-disclosure
would you?
agreements and-
I don't think you necessarily remember each line you're doing in the audition, but like, did it seem like it was for us one specific character, or did it kind of like you were just trying to?
it was definitely like I was auditioning for this kind of guy. I don't even remember if they actually called him Lester at that point. Um, and I just kind of did my thing with it, man. Like I just like did this like thing for no particular reason, and they seemed to like it. And that was, like there was never any discussion about Lester should be like this. I was just like kind of doing a weird thing, and which is, to their credit, like Rod, the director, and the team that's like on the ground really making this thing day to day. They're very cool, and they would let us kind of be creative and bring our thing to the character, and it was cool.
That I was just gonna ask that the fact that like they didn't say like, "Hey, try this voice." You came in with this interesting voice, and they go, "Hey, perfect, no problem. That's the voice."
Yeah, I don't. If there was ever any kind of discussion about it, I don't really recall it. Like I just sort of did this thing, and they seemed to be cool with it, so I just kept doing
That's
it.
sick. I kind of forgot about this, but as I was doing a bit of a deep dive, the first trailer dropped in November of 2011, so
Wow.
almost 2 years until the game was released. How much of a chunk of time was when you guys started working on it? Do you remember?
Oh, I mean, so uh, I worked on that job for years and years and years and years, even after that first trailer came out. Because I mean, obviously, there's all the downloadable content. So like, um, we would go. For me, like I would go in for Lester. I would go in for maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week. It just depended on like what was written and what they needed to do, and we would kind of film this chunk of it. Film. I'm using that term loosely. This chunk of it, and then like we'd go away, and they'd go away and kind of put all that together and start, figuring out the next part, and then they'd bring us back and do another chunk, and then we go. So it was kind of this on again, off again job that would just kind of, whenever they were needing me, I was like, yeah, I'm around, cool. So it went on for years like that.
That's so weird. Did you get a film, or did you get to record with the other guys as well, or were you alone?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we were together all the time, dude.
Oh, that's really cool. I feel like that makes it such a more fun experience.
Oh yeah, we're a funny little group. Me and Ned and Solo and Og and the rest. Like it's fun, man. Like we spend a lot of time hanging out in the waiting room and eating lunches, bullshitting.
Sorry, being a kid in high school at the time and like knowing like how fun like GTA 4 was, like there was a lot of hype just in general for the game. Obviously, you being a bit older than I was, did you feel the hype as well or not really?
You know, not completely because I later got into gaming a bit, but at the time I wasn't a big video games guy.
Mm,
I was just busy doing some other shit, and later I developed a real love for gaming, and I still do love gaming.
nice.
But I didn't play. I mean, I had played Red Dead or GTA 4. Like it's not like I never played it, but I didn't like sit down and like go through the game or whatever. Like I just wasn't super into. I was young and in New York and run around being a crazy person.
How
Uh,
secretive were they with like all of this stuff, like NDAs and stuff?
Incredibly secretive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they're watching your posts and shit. Like if you posted something online, they knew it. Like they're
That's crazy. It's kind of like Kevin Feige of Marvel. Like people say he's like an assassin. Like someone says something, you're done.
yeah, yeah, totally. I worked on a Marvel show, and I went to take a selfie at one point, and the guy came up. He's like, "Yo." Yeah, and I was like, oh, sorry. All right.
Oh, shit. That makes sense, man. The things they pull off. So looking at some
I
numbers.
get it. Like I get why they do it.
Oh yeah, you don't want things to get spoiled. Makes sense. You want the viewing
Yeah,
experience to be that much better, especially when you're a behemoth like Rockstar or Marvel, etc.
yeah,
Looking at the numbers, that's crazy. It sold 11 million copies and $800 million on the first day release,
yeah.
which set a lot of records. And I remember at the time that like something had crashed that like you weren't even able to play like for a good chunk of time for those first couple days. Because like I said, I got
Oh
the
yeah,
first day, and like online wasn't set up for like another month. I think that was planned, but online didn't come for another month. And then yeah, like there were parts in the game that like people were complaining about that they had to shut it down, fix, and then put it back out, which is
yeah.
crazy.
Totally, man. I mean, it is a massive undertaking. Like, there is no way uh, to overstate how much effort it takes to do what they do for this shit. Like it's crazy. So like for instance, when you see Lester open the car of a door, pull his cane out, get out of the car, walk 5 feet, go up a set of steps, push through a door, turn left, and go down the hall. I got out of a car. Like they build like these weird like skeleton sets. So it was this like thing made of like bars and cushioned seats, and like it looks like a car, so that they have something for reference, so that everything like when they put it in their computer, it knows what everything should, what the shape should be, right? So they built these skeleton sets for every single scene you see us in. Every single
That's
scene.
nuts.
And so when I'm standing there talking to Ned or Steven or whoever, like it's the two of us in space talking, doing the thing. There's cameras literally 360, like all of it. It's a major undertaking, let alone all the like technological, back end stuff they have to do, like to animate it and all that stuff. Like it's massive.
You said about how like obviously the character like they were taking of you like Ned looks like Michael, Solo looks like Franklin, and like Steven looks like Trevor and stuff. But like I don't think you really look exactly like Lester. So like when you saw Lester, you guys,
If you
guys, what
hold
the
on,
fuck?
it did. If my hair was blonde,
Were you a little insulted, or you're like, "Okay, come on, like I don't look like this big of a nerd."
I mean, look, I didn't expect him to come out looking like George Clooney.
True. Oh, yeah, that's fair.
So it came out as yeah, that clocks.
That's good. I know you mentioned you weren't really a big video game guy before that. Holy words! But like afterwards, like as it's like the hype is happening, did you have any idea it was going to be as successful as it was?
No, dude. No, at the time when it first came out, it made so much money that it was the single largest grossing media entity in human history. Like more than any other movie, book, anything, game, whatever.
Were they strict on you like improvising lines or anything, or were they kind of like free flowing with that?
No, they were cool. I mean, there was a script and we needed to like, do the script, of course. But a lot of times, like they would have phrases in there that sounded more. It's an English company, right? Like it's a British company, so like, they'd like there would be things that we needed to sort of Americanize, or it's me, it's Lester, so like I'm gonna give it my own thing and like a little bit, and they were totally cool about us being creative and improvising some shit. I mean, we weren't like improvising full scenes or something like that, of course, but like within the parameters of what they gave us, totally, like we did crazy shit. And there are lines that were, there are lines in that game that were never written, that just an actor like did it, and
With any of those lines, like, is there a certain Lester line that you hear the most nowadays still?
30 seconds.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
My favorite was
that one, and the one about what is it, like I like my jobs like I like my women, like across the street while I'm watching with a bear banana. Like there's some like creepy fucking Lester line being like a peeping Tom. I can't even remember what it is. It's fucking so shitty.
My favorite, I was telling my buddies this, that when you and I when you agreed to do this, you emailed me and all in the subject said was "it's Lester," and I showed all my buddies. I was like, "This is so sick! It's like the phone when it comes up in the corner of the game."
Oh yeah,
when Lester emails you. I was like, "This is unbelievable! Hilarious. I feel like I'm in the game."
That's funny, dude. Yeah.
I love that. The other thing I was gonna ask was you're talking about how like you've been Lester for a long time, like in a lot of updates, even though the game is as old as it is. GTA Online, did you see Lester evolve a lot from the beginning of that to the last time you did it?
You mean in terms of how he looks, or you just mean
That,
as a
how he
character?
acted, anything about the character himself? I know he wasn't the main focus online, but
You know, uh, to be honest, not really, man.
no.
Because like I said, I kind of came in doing this weird thing that they were cool with, and they just sort of let that go, and so um, I think I kind of very early on found Lester's lane and just stayed there,
True.
and like because that was his function, like he's the man with the plan. He's who you call when the cops are on your tail. So like I think, and also he's just such a specific. Like Lester is not exactly a character with a massive arc of
He is who he
change.
is.
Lester is Lester, and that's kind of it.
Last GTA 5 question. So, how do I want to word this? A lot of people have run-ins with Steven, Og, and never really seems like he enjoys anything about GTA. Meanwhile, like Ned and Solo seem like they love every aspect of it. Same with you. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that I am an agent of chaos, and I enjoy the shit out of that scenario. You're right. I mean, look. Well, I don't want to speak for anybody,
Yeah.
Ned or Solo or Steven or anybody, right? Like they're all doing their own thing, and I love how all of them do their own thing. But yeah, like people have noticed what you're talking about, and when I have the pleasure of being there with them, I just sort of enjoy the show.
Yeah. And is Steven how he seems? Like, is he that guy?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Like
Yeah.
Steven is like somebody who if I were in a bad situation, I have no doubt that Stephen Ogg would have my back. You know what I mean? Like he's a stand up fucking guy.
Yeah.
And I love that cat. But he's also yeah, he's a man with a very particular way of being, and I respect it.
The thing about Steven is there's no gray area on like what he thinks about. It seems like a lot of things, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a man with he has a very particular view. I enjoy that view.
Now I'm not asking you to tell me directly. I mean, you can if you want, but hypothetically, if Lester was in GTA 6, how could he fit into that world in your mind?
I'm not in it.
Is that actually a true? Are you telling the
That's
truth?
true. Yeah, I'm telling you truthfully, I'm not in it. And they don't do a ton of overlap like that. Maybe I don't know.
True.
Although I say that for all I know, some maybe the other guys are fucking. I have
Yeah.
no idea. Like the other GTA 5 guys, maybe. But again, like nobody would say. You know what I mean? Like they it's you sign a non-disclosure agreement, and like breaking that would actually genuinely have real impact.
If you signed an
uh,
NDA that and you're in it, would you get in shit for saying you're not? How does that work?
no, if I'm not a part of it, I'm not a part of it. Like
No, no, no,
like
no. But I'm saying if you sign an NDA saying like because you are in it, let's say you're working on it, but then you're
yeah.
telling people no. Does that break the NDA because you're telling them an answer? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know. I think anybody would just say I can't talk about it.
Right. True.
I don't. I think nobody would want to say I'm not in it. If they are, they would just say I can't talk about it,
Right.
and then be pleased that you're totally get that they're totally in
Right.
it.
Did you think that maybe you would have been in it? Maybe.
Maybe, dude. Who knows? You never know. Maybe they'll call old Lester one of these days. No idea.
Well, because you say there's not usually like crossover from one to the other, but then on the other side of that, there was never a game like 5. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Like they like
True.
to make up new stories, but then 5 blew everything out of the water.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Totally. I mean, dude, I wouldn't be shocked if they did. It would sort of feel like I imagine that it would be very gratifying for the fans, So like, I wouldn't be shocked if they did, but I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
They
and I
don't
know
tell.
all
They don't
people
tell us shit, like with that.
really.
Literally, they don't tell us anything.
Obviously, I know you're not part of the developing team or director or whatever, but being such a big part of that world, what do you think Rockstar has to do to top 5? Because I think that's a massive job.
I mean, I think two things. One, the technology of it all is skyrocketing. You know, even within the process of making five, where we started and where we landed were two very different things. Like it only gets better and better, and they keep investing more and more into building that technology and making it look even more amazing. So I'm quite sure that six will look even more amazing than five did, and five looked fucking super cool.
So cool.
So that that side. The other thing is, boy, it's a tumultuous time in the world, um, and I think if at the end of the day, Grand Theft Auto is satire. It's a satire video game. Like it. There is absolutely plenty of social commentary, and nobody is safe from that. And so there's a lot to comment on, and I think that will be the thing that they have to that I don't think it's something they have to achieve. It's just going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's what they do, and there's so much crazy shit going on in the world right now.
One thing my buddies I
forward.
loved about 5 was that you could switch from character to character, so you didn't have to spend 2 hours driving from Los Santos to where Trevor lived. I just hope, because there's all these rumors about the world being this much bigger in 6, that there's something like that. Because I really don't want to spend friggin' 4 hours driving like it's real life, having to go from one spot of the map to the other.
Yeah, totally. I would be surprised if they didn't give you that option.
I think that was a game. That's another game. That was another game changer in the franchise. The fact that you could switch from character to character like that. And one line that I think is underrated of Lester's, when him and Michael are talking about getting her crew together, and Lester starts naming off, he never says names, but people where they live from previous games. I think that was such a cool little nugget of people that played the other games.
Yeah.
But then he never said a single name, which I think was cool.
Yeah, totally. That's funny. I'd forgotten about that one. Wow.
Yeah. What has it been like doing conventions for GTA? Because how long have you been doing them? Not that long, I don't think.
Not very long. Yeah, I was just kind of off in another world for a long time, and then more recently have done a handful of those, and it's incredibly cool, man. I mean, it's wild how much it means to people, and I'm very genuinely, deep in my heart, glad and grateful to be there to give them a little moment of wow, they're meeting a person that worked on this thing that was so important to them, and such a big piece of their life for a long time, and that brings people a really fun moment of joy, and it's awesome that I get to go do that. Fucking great.
And you're doing it with guys, not just the guys from 5, but you're doing it with guys from the older games too.
Oh yeah, totally, and all the Red Dead people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's one or the other, but sometimes it's both. And that's fun because I love all the Red Dead crew too, and yeah, it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
You talked about Marvel and stuff. Obviously, you did a couple episodes of Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Even being just a smaller part of the Marvel universe must have felt pretty sick, huh?
Oh, dude, I'm such a dork for all the superhero stuff, and just being one little bit of the Marvel canon is a little feather in my cap here. I love that, man. And I got to die in such a cool way in that show. That was definitely my best on-screen death ever.
I was reading comments about it because I was watching the clips and stuff of you, and when you died, and it was they thought Marvel, a lot of people thought Marvel wasted your character, and that they wish they didn't kill you off so fast, saying he could have been so fun for the show. Did you know right away it was only going to be the 3 episodes?
Yeah, I knew it was because I knew I was getting axed. But hey, we all know Marvel loves an alternative timeline. So if anyone's listening, I'm ready, guys.
That's the best part of Marvel. They could do whatever they want. They could just be there's time travel. Duh, obviously.
Totally. Wizard, you're back. All right, I'm okay. Cut to Wizard pulling the pole out of his chest. All right, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. A guy that can move so fast, that's what kills him.
Yeah, totally. Well, I wasn't looking. It came from up here.
I guess you think you would have got something somewhere else along the line.
Right.
what a death. What was it like working with Kristen Ritter?
Great, man. That show was awesome. It was a pleasure to work on, and had a great time with her and everybody that was on set. Like, um, everybody's excited because it's a Marvel thing, but also, like I said, that TV, like people tend to really know, like this is a job, we got to get it done, and like people are there to like handle business. So there's sort of a singular sense of direction for everybody, which is nice. So it was great, man.
I liked that part of the Marvel universe in the TV shows before, like that and Punisher, Daredevil and stuff. Before it got like way too overloaded, because I'm a huge Marvel guy. When we
Oh
got
yeah,
to Hulk and she's twerking with Meg The Stallion, I think it might have jumped the shark at that point. It thankfully is coming back to where I
yes,
think it should be, where like the Punisher and Daredevil and stuff are back. I just
yeah,
feel like
dude.
I think like a Jessica Jones should definitely come back as well.
Oh, totally. I mean, I kind of feel like she will, right? Like,
Yeah.
they'll loop her in at some point.
Yeah, I'm so
She's a
excited
cool
for
character.
Spider-Man and Doomsday this year.
Yes, dude. Oh my God, yes. It looks cool.
I was saying to my wife the other day, we were getting Doomsday trailers a year out, and we're getting Spider-Man in July, and we only got the first trailer for like a month ago. Like, it feels like
Right.
I'm hoping I'm wrong because Spider-Man's my favorite outside of Iron Man, but it feels like it potentially could be a little rushed. I'm kind of worried about that.
You never know, man. Or they just want to wait and like sort of condense the anticipation so it's like a quicker build and maybe that's more effective. I think that's probably all like marketing strategy shit that people toy with, you know.
True. Well, they got
But-
me.
but- yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I'm in either way.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, he's my favorite besides outside of Iron Man. A
Nice.
couple more things for you. You worked on a show with Robert De Niro. Now, I don't know how much time you or on screen time you spent with him, but
Yeah.
what was that like? Did you get a chat with him at all?
Oh yeah, I spent a good bit of time with him. Like Bob is a fuck, and I'm not being
I was just gonna say, you saying
I
Bob,
know.
that's the people that are close to him that do that.
I know. Well, but that's how he introduces himself.
Oh,
That's how
fair.
we all like, spoke to one another on set. Like that's what he goes by.
That's
Uh,
fair.
but but of course I'm like conscious about it. When I'm like doing something like this, and I'm like Bob and Bob. Oh, me and Bob were hanging out.
Like your
But
Scorsese.
dude, the thing I say about that guy is like I was very happy to report that the actual human was even better than the legend.
That's so
Like
good.
such a good dude. There to handle business, but also like by the end we were kind of we'd be joking with each other and busting balls just a little bit, and he that dude like he was in almost every frame of that friggin' show, right? Like that, so he showed up, ass early, and he'd be there way late. Whenever the director would be like, Bob, what do you think? You want one more take? He's like, yeah, let's do one more. He always like he worked his ass off.
That's good to know. Like you said, like the fact that like such a legend, sometimes you'd be worried, is he that good of a guy? But to hear that he is unreal.
Totally, and like he's not the kind of guy. I've worked with those celebrities too. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to be a prick, but like
Yeah.
there are those who kind of like if the camera's not on them, they're stand-ins doing it, or like they're just kind of the second they're not doing their thing, they're kind of off and they're done with it. Bob was there, he was in it, and like with us, and he's very he's sort of notoriously soft-spoken. He's like speak quietly, carries a big stick kind of guy.
Yeah.
What's that phrase? I think I said that right.
Yeah.
But like he's just very grounded. Such a blast. I had a great time working with him, man. Love that
Obviously,
guy.
like he's such a legend in like the massive films he was in. But like for me, one of my favorite that he was in is The Intern with Anne Hathaway.
Oh yeah,
That's my guilty pleasure. That's such like a
yeah,
relaxing
sure,
movie.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
that one that every time it pops up on cable, you're like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna watch this again.
It's just chill. Like it's overstimulating. It's just like a nice, relaxing old man Robert De Niro flick.
Yeah, totally, man.
That's awesome.
Totally.
Getting into like 2026, Jay. So, like I mentioned, real estate agent. You talked about doing conventions. You're still working on multiple projects. With everything you have going on, like I just want to hear about like 2026 you.
Yeah, it's this year's been going all right, man. I've got sort of a ongoing thing with FanDuel. Been shooting a few commercials with them. I got another one coming up that I'm excited to do. So the commercial world is still alive. I got another commercial for a different brand coming out soon. So that's nice because commercials were sort of like not around for a little while. So they're nice to sort of have that going on. I'm doing a new musical. It's in the developmental stages, so that's early on. I won't say what because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to yet or not. So sorry to be that guy, but it's going to be a fucking good one. I'm excited as hell about it. And so that's coming up in a couple weeks. It's just in the developmental stage, so like we're doing readings, and it'll be who knows, a year or two, maybe longer before it's actually up on stage. But yeah, man, doing the real estate thing. That's
Where did that come from?
Because show business is a fickle bitch. That's where it's honestly there. It's a thing. This is ask any. I like to say working class actor as opposed to working actor, right? Because that is a large swath of the industry. All my peers, every single one of us. On the rare occasion we do have in-person auditions or callbacks, the second we're all in the waiting room, that's all I like to do. Is so fucked, right? Like everything's just a mess. What's going on? Show businesses since the pandemic has not been in what it was prior to that, right? Because there was the pandemic, there was the writer's strike, there was the actor's strike, there was the streamer bubble kind of burst. There's all this craziness with AI, and everybody's scared and doesn't know what the hell is going to happen. There's all this craziness with who's buying who, and all this, just the quantity of work has diminished vastly. It's tough out there for class actors. Yeah, all of us across the board. Who's that actor? I love that guy, Kirk Acevedo. I might be messing up his last name. Somebody. There was a whole thing that like online with him. I noticed the other day about it, and like he was speaking some real truth about it. But it's tough out there, man. Like, yeah. So I had to do something else, to put a few dollars in my pocket, and luckily landed at a lovely place to work, and I'm doing that, and it's nice. Like I'm helping people like get their homes. I'm doing something nice for people. That feels good.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Last thing that
You're
I
in the
always
state
ask,
of New Jersey. Call Lester.
yeah, what is
Find your
it?
home.
West of Hudson Real Estate.
Yeah, that's it, man. They're great.
That's awesome. That's what you should be. It should be a whole shtick of like Lester, like
I
the
know,
character
right?
Lester selling the houses.
I have thought of that. I'm like, I don't know if people really trust Lester to be sending them home.
Hey, he
I
gets
promise
people
there's
money.
no cameras in the place. I'm not watching.
I love that. Last thing, and I ask every guest this is, what is the one thing you miss most about being a kid?
Oh, that's a great question, dude. I will say the lack of consequential responsibility, and the freedom that allowed.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a kid, like whether you're like a literal child or even a young adult, you can go out there and you can fuck things up big time, and it's okay. You can readjust. You can and that becomes harder as you get older and you have kids and jobs and more responsibilities. That if things go wrong, there's massive, deep, meaningful consequences.
Yeah, everything else is just a learning lesson early on in life, but then
that's
to be
right.
learned.
That's a great way to put it. Early on, it's learning lessons, and you can sort of take your hits and keep on going. And it gets harder and harder to take those hits as you're older.
Well, no, that's a good one. You're the first person to give it that answer, so I like that. Like I always say, no one is being a kid more than I do. That's why I'm doing a podcast like this, to be able to find the people like you. So Jay, man, thank you so much. This was awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure, Quinn. My pleasure, buddy. Glad to be here. Nice chatting with you.
Thank you. I'll have to get you on again sometime when we got history or future folk too. And
Yeah.
7?
Your lips to
Maybe.
God's ears, baby. I hope so.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Talk to you again.
And that was the Quinn Marr Show.